Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Infamous show number 9. Joined here by Mr. Infamous Alex himself. What's going on, brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Man.
Flores did me nasty again. I see.
Flores got the jokes today. I see. What's going on, bro?
Nothing much, man. Been busy with the, with the channel, with the series, so just trying to make time. So
Yeah, I see you. I see you grinding, bro.
Yeah, pretty excited. I mean, I know Flores is, even not just me, but he's been tied up. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, talk to me about Vlogmas, bro. I know y'all two been kind of getting down on that.
I mean, all of us really. It's been a lot of juggling, a lot of moving parts, literally, and metaphorically, with the bike. So honestly, we started this December 1st, and we kind of been holding strong. Every day we've been posting and dropping videos and stuff like that. All thanks to Full Res, with the edits and stuff like that. He's been knocking them out, and it's just trying to get them out there and honestly shot, and everything. So it's been it's been fun, but sometimes we just got to juggle things around to make it work. So that's kind of what we've been doing.
Well, I don't think people understand, all three of us, we work full-time jobs. This is not our only, this is more of our passion, our hobby. And we try to, put in, and we don't just work 40-hour work weeks, man. We work probably 50, 60-hour minimum, work weeks. But this is a labor of love. We definitely enjoy doing it. And Vlogmas has had his own challenges. It's been a lot of fun. So.
Oh, yeah, no, I can't complain. I feel like for what we're doing, I mean, even, like you said, we're kind of short on time. It's still fun. I feel like I'm still enjoying it. Going through the process, even though that, me and you and Full Res, we've been kind of building bikes back and forth, but now it's that the challenge aspect of it, makes it fun. And then just kind of honestly just getting the content, because I feel like me and you have been doing this for a minute, but we really never done like a, step by step, or almost like kind of shot everything. It's just people, we'll have the bike, people will all of a sudden see this part on it, that part on it, and stuff like that. So now it just makes it fun to where like you're capturing the whole deal, from start to finish.
Yeah.
So, and it makes it worth it. Oh,
no doubt, dude. To me, it's one of the funnest parts, just making the bike, your own, putting your own touches on it. And yeah, what's going on with the sticks, man? Anything new there? Anything exciting going on?
So for the 6.6, which if you guys haven't been tuning in, or this is your first video, it's our giveaway bike. So if you go to infamousculture.com, you'll be able to see it. I know we talked about it, but you guys will have a chance to get that 2024 CX6 KRT. And honestly, like I feel JD just said it, I'm gonna say it one more time. Your chances are good. So we actually have the exhaust for it. So hopefully we're gonna be knocking that out. Either what you think for us tomorrow?
Probably tomorrow morning.
Shit, right now, bro. After the podcast, quit playing, bro.
No, after the podcast, actually another bike we just got. The new kind of daily, the Yamaha, So yeah, after the podcast, I mean, like I mentioned, it's a lot of moving parts and literally parts coming in that we just have to juggle around. Hey, this part came in for this bike, this other part came up for this bike. So it's just a lot of little things to where, and at the same time, you got to think, and I think I mentioned it before, when I work on these bikes, like I like to get everything do everything that's in the vicinity at the same time. Like, for example, I think if you guys haven't seen, when we did the exhaust for the Yamaha, I did the radiator covers at the same time. That way you're not breaking the bike apart for the second time, double working.
Yeah. So,
that kind of plays a role in it whenever it comes down to putting everything, together. So you rather, at least for me, it makes it easier. I'd rather wait for another part to come in. That way I knock out both at the same time, and I don't have to go back and forth, taking things apart and putting it together again. So, that's been the only thing, and I mean, it's this time of year where shipping, I think
very slow.
Christmas
time.
Yeah, so I think I had a part coming in December 1st, and I think it just got here a few days ago. So it's running late to where it might be messing with the Vlogmas. I know Full Res over here probably shaking his head to where we got to shoot this content. But it's some things just is out of your control. But the CX6, I mean, I'm pretty excited. I think, like I said, we're gonna do the exhaust. The R1M, we're still getting parts for it, and that's not even the build bikes. We're not even getting into the build bikes yet. So I know those parts are coming in. So that's gonna be, like I said, more work, but we'll get it done.
And guys, a lot of you be seeing this on Monday. Come check us out Tuesday at Cycle Gear Katie. We'll be out there holding it down. We'll have the giveaway bike there. You can get your entry tickets. Come say what's up. Come kick it with us for a little bit. We'll definitely love to see you. And yeah, I mean, last time we kind of were talking about aesthetic mods that we want to do. Let's talk about a few performance mods you do, Alex, when you get a new bike.
So yeah, I mean, I think this subject goes hand in hand with what we're doing, because even the aesthetic mods, that's literally what we talked about last time, is kind of what we're doing with the build series, what we're doing with the R1M, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it goes, like I said, hand in hand with the performance. A lot of times when you buy a brand new bike, I mean, it depends on the brand, depends on the bike, obviously, but a lot of these manufacturers really, really restrict the bikes.
Well, they have to because Euro 5.
Yeah, exactly. So I think to me, the mods that you for sure need is like an air filter. I think it would be like the cheapest kind of performance mod you'll need. And we've always been running the Sprint EP.8 F1 filters on the bikes, and I feel like a lot of the people that tune and stuff like that, I think that's kind of what they run or recommend too.
It seems to give you the most power.
Right.
It's not the cheapest. There's definitely a lot of cheaper filters out there. But it definitely gives you the most gains.
And I mean, yeah, it's not the cheapest, but another benefit that it gives you is you could clean it to where it's not like an OEM filter.
It's metal, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
You don't have to oil it either.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think the other brands, you have to clean it and then you have to oil it. And from my experience, I feel like I have a heavy hand maybe, and I try to do a light oil, but it's kind of hard to gauge of where exactly you gotta, how much oil you gotta put in and stuff like that. So the Sprint filters I think they're on pretty much all the bikes that you see us riding, and it's done as good. So I think we start there. From there, I mean, obviously the biggest thing is the exhaust. These bikes are super quiet. Obviously they have the cats. They might have a big old bazooka can, just hanging in the back, to where, like you said, it's just restriction or how you say the manufacturers have to do that, for sound and the exhaust and fumes, stuff like that, so they have to kind of come really restricted on the exhaust. But I mean, we always go with the full titanium, lighter weight. You could go stainless, stuff like that. So to me, it's just preference, but obviously different brands make different powers, from each other. So it just depends on the bike and depend on what you're trying to get. But for sure, I think exhaust is one of the major keys to the performance deal of the bike.
So you just roughly did a video on the R1M. If y'all haven't checked it out, definitely go check it out. Where it saved, if I'm mistaken, 18 pounds.
Yeah, so the R1M, it comes obviously with the stock exhaust. I think that we got that bike with 4 miles on it, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like I said, it's super quiet. You got that, and then it's a stainless. So you have two metals. You have stainless and titanium. Stainless is a little bit heavier, and titanium is way lighter. And titanium is kind of what. I would say, I mean, I enjoy the look of titanium because you get that bluing,
it changes colors
and stuff like that. So to me, we always go titanium.
Just don't touch it before you turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean
fingerprints.
You could touch it, just clean it before you turn it on. So just make sure you wipe it down before you turn it on and heat cycle the exhaust. Because if not, you're gonna have some fingerprints on the exhaust and
like the R1M.
Yeah, no, that one has we cleaned it. But no, so since the R1M, stock exhaust with the stock cat and everything else, I think it weighed 26 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. 26 pounds, and with everything, the headers, the cat, the can, and everything. And when we did we went with the Akrapovic full titanium exhaust.
So what made you choose Acra over Graves or over Arrow or any other brand.
So I feel like the brands that you mentioned are probably the top brands that I would go with.
Or SC Project is another one.
SC Project, and I think that's what the first R1M had.
That's right.
And I wasn't opposed to it. I feel like we just came up with the right deal on that one. And honestly, all of the bikes, especially for Beamers, Acura, to me, hands down, no matter what manufacturer, Yamaha, BMW, anything like that, I feel like it gets you maybe the most, at least top 2, top 3 most gains out of, whatever manufacturer there is. So I feel like you can't go wrong with Acura.
Can't go wrong, man.
So the Graves, I feel like, and it goes down to like from there every manufacturer, right? Because you think Graves, I feel like you almost think
Yamaha. It was made for Yamaha,
right?
Bro.
Exactly.
Came from the Yamaha racing team.
It's almost like Termi. You think
Ducati.
You
That's
know,
right.
so each brand does have its own little, manufacturer has its own little brand that really kind of circles around it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I wasn't like, I think we had a conversation. I wasn't opposed to either Graves or SC. I just feel like, those are great exhausts for the Yamaha, but yeah, we lucked out on the deal with the Acura, and that's what's on it now. So can't complain. The Acura, whenever we weighed it, I think it was 8 pounds.
That's crazy.
So 26 minus the 8, you get that 18 pounds of just weight savings, which is insane.
Huge.
Yeah, for a bike, that's a huge difference. And you'll feel it. Obviously you'll feel it on the flickability, I feel like, and then you'll feel it obviously on the performance, on the way that the bike just kind of takes off, because obviously you're pushing less weight now.
Yeah.
So honestly, we're gonna try to do, if you guys kind of stay tuned, we'll probably end up doing like a pure sound on it, because I feel like Yamaha.
We are doing a pure sound.
Well, soon.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, soon on it. So I think, for me, the Yamahas, they have a great sound. Like they have that cross-plane, throaty, just kind of deep growl. And I mean, honestly, other than maybe like a Doug sounds pretty good to me. But yeah, those two are like, I mean, the Yamaha is just, I know with the exhaust, it's gonna sound really, really good. So we're excited about that. Other than that, I think once you get to those two things with the performance.
Mm-hmm.
My next step and what I like to do, what we like to do, is obviously the flash.
Okay, so explain to us what a flash is.
So to pretty much, your bike, when you get it, obviously, you have the ECU, which is the bike's computer. But
it's
even
like the brains of
the brains of the bike. So if you do those performance upgrades, filter, exhaust, stuff like that, you'll see some differences, right? But it's not going to bring it tied all together, because the brain of the bike, the computer, the ECU, is still running as if you were running those stock parts, as far as like the air coming in, all that good stuff. Like, so you really want to go in there, and not even that. A lot of times, just like how you're restricted with the sound, with the exhaust and everything else, your computer's restricted. So you want to go ahead and unlock, like, I think even the blade, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you want to leave it down in the comments. I just felt that the blade was restricted by the speed, because I feel like as soon as it will go hit 186 in fifth, it will stop climbing.
Yeah.
So I feel like manufacturers do those kind of restrictions in the computer itself. So you want to go in there and have someone flash it, remove those restrictions, and at the same time make sure that your rest of your performance mods are compatible or acting well with what you got right now, with the ECU. So you have those benefits. But yeah, that would be my other step. I mean, honestly, so BT Moto has been the one that's really been behind all the bikes that you see.
Shout out to Bren.
Yeah, like a huge shout out to him. I mean, honestly, I think like at least 5 of the bikes right now are Bren tuned.
All the BMWs.
Yeah, both M's, Mona, the R1.
Hawaiian Punch.
Yeah, Hawaiian Punch.
Yeah, so Flores over here thugged it out and said, I'm getting the best of the best for I thought it was red.
Nah, I like Hawaiian Punch.
Okay,
now.
Hawaiian Punch.
That's
Okay,
that's a funny name.
Yeah.
Hawaiian Punch.
So even him, got the brand tune. So I think he got some other stuff, but he doesn't want to tell me coming.
Yeah.
So
line up, bro.
So yeah, I'm excited. You know, I mean, the Beamers make good power anyways, so I feel like I'm still under the gun. But yeah, I know if he got some other stuff other than the Flash, then yeah, definitely going to be putting some power.
Yeah, we got some goodies, huh?
Yeah, a little something for you, bro.
Some
Yeah.
colorful things.
It is cool. I mean, it's part of it. You know, I don't
So-
mind losing.
So what would you think roughly you would gain with a flash, a filter, and an exhaust?
I feel like, and like I mentioned, it comes down to the manufacturers. It comes down to how restricted is the bike. Because I'm not gonna lie, I think for the Yamaha, you're looking like almost like 20 horsepower. You know, I want to say even more. I didn't really check out what they had on whenever they tuned it. But guess what? If you guys kind of keep up with us, you'll be able to see, because I told them, I was like, before I do the Flash, I'm gonna go here locally to whoever's available. I feel like right now we got some things in the works. Nothing's concrete yet, but we got to put on a dyno before we even mess with the Flash, just to kind of see what we start with, and then on the spot, because like I said, we got Brent and stuff, so it's all done through a handheld. We could do it on the spot, do that dyno run, see get that number, and then put the Flash on, and we'll be able to know the big difference of what the Flash does and stuff like that.
I think most of your gains are going to be in your mid range, huh?
So a lot of these bikes, like especially the Beamers, I remember, like, I don't know why, I think it was Mona, I can't remember, I don't know, one of the bikes, I could not clutch up second gear. I had to be like at 75 or 70 to clutch up, because
The power band.
the power band. So you have a graph, but on the mid range it had like a huge dip, and then it shot up, and I think like 60, 65 or 60 to 70 is where I think in second gear I was right in that dip, because no matter what I did, like I'll try to like pop it up and it won't come up.
Yeah.
So that's another benefit of the Flash, to where you're getting a more how you say, like, linear power. You don't have any dip, so you're cleaning up the power band. For with the Flash. I know Brand, he does it to where your fans might come on sooner. So that way you're not your bike's not heating up to 220 and then the fans kicking on. He might kick it on at 200 to 210 or something.
And why,
180.
and why is that significant, Alex?
Oh, I mean, it doesn't. You don't run your bike harder than it should be.
It doesn't restrict power.
Yeah, exactly. So
You got full power all the time.
exactly. So I mean, little stuff like that goes a long way. So it's just, to me, Flash is almost, like I said, a necessity. Just like, to me, the exhaust is a necessity, and obviously the filter. Because it's cool if you have the exhaust, but if you don't have air coming in the way it should, then
What's the point?
That's the point. So as far as performance, like, those are, to me, the three staples, the three things you must do.
So you touched on the three must do things. Give me one thing that people usually don't think of when they think performance that you feel like needs to be done on all your bikes.
As far as performance, other than those three things, it just depends on what you're trying to do after that, in my opinion.
What are your thoughts on carbon wheels?
So we run pretty much
Because
carbon
that's a
wheels.
very expensive mod.
It
right?
is. It is.
So if you're BMW, if you don't have an M package or an M class, you have a choice. Hawaiian Punch had a choice to get carbon wheels. I opted not to.
Right.
Just because I wanted some HB Forge wheels, because we have carbon on everything else, just in case we want to go down that road and we want to powder them.
Right.
So what are your thoughts on that?
So as far as like carbon wheels, I feel like it depends. If like you said, it's a huge cost. So you're looking at $4,000, give or take,
Minimum.
For some carbon wheels. It depends on what you're trying to do, because at the same time, you got to think of like this. Carbon wheels, you always got to be mindful of that you're on carbon wheels, because, they will, like, if let's say you go over a pothole or anything like that, you're running lower PSI, they are carbon, but at the same time, I feel like they run a greater risk, than a actual, forged wheel or something like that, or
Of cracking?
of cracking, and that's an expensive, mistake to have. As far as performance wise, I feel like I think I probably mentioned this, but I remember when I went from the stock wheels to the carbon wheels, it was more of the flickability for me that I really felt on the bike. So you do feel performance, believe it or not. And it was just the way that the bike just, could dip in. I felt like it just nosed in a lot easier. Because of that mass, that less rotational mass, stuff like that. So to me, is it worth it? It just depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to be, I guess maxed out, full effort, then yeah, you want lighter wheels. You want to get every little bit of performance you can get. Now, like you mentioned, there's other choices too. So instead of carbon wheels, you could do HP wheels, Cormodos, which is carbon wheels, Marchesini. Carbon wheels you could customize, but to a certain point. Either you get flat carbon, or you could do I think it's like 4 colors. I think red, blue, green, and gold. And that's pretty much it. You could customize little things here and there.
Yeah, Rotobox has gotten better on that.
Yeah,
they're letting you, but again, that kills your lead time.
Right,
and that drives
wait like a month or something.
4,000 wheels up to 6,000 hard wheels.
Yeah, so that's the only thing to where you could customize them, but I feel like you said, the HP wheels, they're lightweight wheels already. You could do powder coat them in any color, and if you change your mind, powder coat them again. You have a lot of flexibility as far as that goes. And then the lightweight part of it, I feel like you're close enough. But that's what I'm saying. If you're doing full
couple
effort,
ounces here and there.
Yeah, exactly. Like a pound or two out of each one at the most. I feel like if you're going max effort, you want everything, topped out,
creme de la creme,
then yeah, carbon wheels. If you want something to where you want customized here and there, yada yada, and you want the lightweight, aspect, you have other choices. Because I think Cormodos are like $3,000. Marchesini's about the same.
Yeah, they still hit, man.
Yeah,
they're not cheap.
Yeah, OZ Racing, I think those are lightweight wheels. Manny Motomillion, I know he was telling me about. I think the R1M, he has one, and he put the OC Racing wheels on it. And I think he wanted. I want to say he was mentioning to me, the weight is close to carbon wheels already, so you're like maybe a pound at the most in difference, which is pretty good for what it is.
Probably more durable.
Exactly.
No expiration date on them.
Yeah, because is it 4 years or 3 years?
I mean, usually
that's what they say. But honestly, I feel like we've been riding a few for a little bit longer.
Definitely. YOLO.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, and people ask me all the time because I think we've been running carbon wheels since 2015.
Yeah,
something like that
for sure.
And luckily, this wood, we haven't had any really bad luck with it. So I count my blessings and stuff like that. But at the same time, we're not running low PSI or anything like that. So I think that helps. Obviously, you try to look at the street, avoid potholes, stuff like that. So, that's the stuff that you kind of have to always be mindful if you go down that route.
So, we touched on the wheel. So why don't you talk about if y'all haven't seen the video, guys, they just did a 520 conversion on the Fireblade. Let's talk about, sprockets and changing gearing.
So that kind of goes to where, and honestly, you have to do your homework because every bike is different. Obviously every gearing, I think the BMW is 1745, if I'm not mistaken. I think the blade was 1643, if I'm not mistaken. The blade
1643.
Yeah, so the gears are different. I feel like a lot of times
that's crazy long, dude.
Yeah, that's why the blade does 200 miles an hour.
Yeah,
takes a few seconds, but
few seconds.
But so
a few seconds every 60 minutes.
Yeah, so exactly. So every bike is different. Honestly, you got to do your homework a little bit. I feel like a lot of guys nowadays have messed with it to where it just depends on what you're trying to do. Gearing, what we mean by that is you either are going to try to get more torque out of your bike or you want to get more top end out of your bike, right? So that's kind of, I think if you go minus in the back, it's the same thing as going a plus in the rear, and that's you want more torque. You want to kind of get that the bike kind of launch harder, but you're gonna lose top end on you're gonna lose big end. If you go like a plus in the back, in the front, and like a minus in the rear, then you're losing a little bit of that torque, but you're gaining that top end. So, and at the same time, you don't want to do anything drastic because let's say, let me drop 4 teeth in the back, but if your bike don't make power, It's gonna take you
Yeah.
hours to even get there, you know. So you got to play with it. I mean, honestly, like I said, it just depends on what you're trying to do from there. But it does make a huge difference. You know, like let's for instance, like roll racers, stuff like that. If you want to lessen the torque from the hit, but you want to kind of extend the the big end, you could do something like that. You know,
Yeah.
like a minus in the rear or something, and play it to to what you're trying to do. So I would recommend it, but at the same time, it just depends on what you're trying to do. The 520 conversion, I feel like it's a good idea. I think we just did the video. We shed a few ounces. It's a little lighter weight chain that you're doing. The sprockets, it's a little lightweight sprockets at the same time. So it's a good performance mod. But I feel like for in the beginning, it's a necessity. I would say run your bike if it's a brand new bike. Run your bike with the stock chain, sprocket, and stuff like that. See how you like it. See what you're trying to do with it, and then kind of go from there. This is what I would recommend.
Yeah, for sure, man. I totally agree with that. Now, let me ask you this. We were talking about $4,000 for some carbon wheels. Where else would you feel like we could spend that money to be a little bit, more bang for the buck? Because something that people, they kind of forget about is, for a couple $100, you can get a strap for that front end, man. And that does a lot, in my opinion.
So the strap is, so for you guys that don't know, it's pretty much, it goes on your front rotor or calipers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little bracket that you put I guess between the bolt and the caliper and stuff like that. And the bracket is attached to a strap that goes around the neck of the bike. And I think nowadays people this for content wise, they'll do it when they're rolling. They brake, and when they brake, they pull the strap and it compresses. When you brake, your suspension compresses. But that strap, if you pull it, it holds the bike with the suspension compressed. So what that does is, let's say if you're roll racing, or even I feel like if you're dig racing or something, your bike is already kind of like more nose down to where you don't have that much suspension travel. And if you hit the throttle, it makes it harder for the bike to come up to a wheelie or to pick up the front end. So it does make a huge difference. I think it's a good, cheap mod to do if you're trying to, and at the same time, it's something to where you could just, take out the tension and you're back to normal. The straps are just there for decorations until you want to go ahead and use it. But then you could go back to being stock, whenever you want. Just take out the tension on the slack or on the strap, and that's it. But definitely, it makes a huge difference on the hit, because that way you could probably make a harder hit on it without fighting a wheelie or without having the front end come up on you. So I think it's like $200 or something like that.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
I think it's worth it if that's kind of the roll racing, the drag racing you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, it's definitely worth it. And at the same time, even if you don't do it every time and you want to go ahead and put it, like I said, you take out the tension on it and you're back to daily riding. So I think it's better than to drop the bike, because that's another performance mod that people would do, is lower it so that way they're not fighting the wheelies, they're not doing anything like that,
Lowering links.
So but that's more of a, you do it, you're stuck with it. You can't just, let me pull over and raise it back up. You have to, hopefully it's adjustable. You have to go in and adjust it, bring it back up to height, and same thing with the forks for the front end. You have to bring it back up. So it takes more time to do it, but the strap, I feel like it's a good, cheap, fast mod that you could do.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. What else do you think that we missed? We talked about, the 3 must-haves: the exhaust, the filter, and the flash. We talked about the strap. We talked about the wheels. Is there anything else that you feel like we missed touching on?
Other than, let's say, if we stick into the, the roll racing, the wheeling and stuff like that, is if you want to do kind of put all the power, on the bike, and you want it to go fast in a straight line. Because if you're coming up, you're losing. You want to be moving forward. You don't want to be moving like that, because that means all the power is wasted. It's wasted, and you're limited because you're over here fighting to keep it down. But if you want to just go fast and go straight, an arm would be your next best thing.
Great point.
You would need a swing arm. So with the swing arm, or people do the blocks, but I'm not really a fan of that. The extension blocks,
They break.
yeah, like it's like having links in a chain. The more links in the chain, the more it's easily like more weak points, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you get an arm on the bike, pretty much the swing arm, you take out the OEM one and and those come in so many measurements too, 2 to 4, 6 to 8, or whatever. I mean, honestly, I don't think I'm dabbled too much with them, but they extend the wheelbase of the bike. So if you extend the wheelbase of the bike, it's almost like the whole thing in the strap, in the front end. Now the bike is a lot longer to where like it's going to be harder for it to come up. Now you have the strap on there. Honestly, the bike probably will just come up like a foot if anything, and that's maybe even with the full throttle.
Yeah.
So that's something else you could do, but only be mindful if you're going to do something like that. You got to get a longer chain. That's the only thing to where, it's not just let me get an arm and that's it. You need a longer chain to run it. That extension. So. That'd be the only other where I could say, if you're trying to go fast and stuff like that, you don't want the bike to wheelie or anything like that, and you're trying to put all the power to the ground, that would be it. Other than that, I know we touched on the tires 3 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Tires would be honestly, I would care more about the tires than I would care about the arm. But that's what I'm saying. It just depends on what every person's trying to do with their bike.
Sure.
I would mess with the tires before even putting an arm on it or anything like that, just because. I'm not just trying to go fast in the straightaway. I like to turn and I like to wheelie and stuff like that. So to me, tires are a little bit more important. But like I mentioned, everybody is different.
What about stacks?
The stacks, yeah, I feel like
foreshadowing.
So is that one thing or what?
Velocity stacks.
What do they do
So
to the bike?
Honestly, do we have stacks on any bikes? I think only one, huh?
Stay tuned.
From what I understand is it goes to the like in the airbox, your velocity stacks going onto the how do you say it? It redirects the air going into your cylinders, and I want to say they give you more power on the big end. I think they go hand in hand with the red line and where you're shifting at, stuff like that. It just kind of keeps the power on the big end. But it just depends. A lot of people do they have their own stacks that they do. So you just don't want to go ahead and that's a mod to where like whenever you do the flash, you want to let them know as well. So it's not like, you're going to put the stacks on and, my bike has stacks and I'm running hard. Like,
yeah, because you're putting more air.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're putting more air. You're directing the air a little bit differently than the OEM ones. So you want to have that mod at the same time with the flash. Don't think I'm going to put exhaust filter and stacks and no flash or put the flash and get the stacks later. You have to let them know, hey, I got stacks too, because it's going to affect the ratios, like I said, the airflow ratio, stuff like that. So is it a necessity? No. Will you get a little bit more power out of the bike? Yeah. But like I said, it just depends on who you're going with and stuff like that. So I know multiple companies do stacks for different variety of bikes. So it's just kind of do your homework, see kind of what their gains have been and stuff like that. But like I said, it goes hand in hand with the flash. So don't forget that.
So speaking about stacks, let's talk about let's talk about the airbox mod that I see a lot of with the gold tape. What's that all about?
Oh, the gold tape. So a lot of times, and this might go down to Bren. He has like an IAT relocator kit, right? So a lot of times, like with the gold tape, you have the engine, obviously, right? You're riding the bike, you have the engine underneath you, and then you have the airbox, you have everything above the engine. So you want to kind of keep that heat away from the airbox itself, that way, whenever you, and like I mentioned, Bren, so what he does is you have a temperature sensor in your airbox that reads and sends, information to the ECU. So, but if it's a hotter, temp that is reading, it's going to change the, how the bike is running.
The power.
The power of the bike.
Yeah.
So a lot of times what Bren does, and I'm not saying you're getting more power by doing this. I'm saying you're being more consistent by doing this. So pretend to where, like, let's say you made a run, you made 2 runs, you made 3 runs. Your bike is getting harder, you know, believe it or not. Like, your parts are getting harder. So now your 3rd, 4th run might not be as consistent as your first one, because now you know it's reading a little harder or whatever. So that IAT relocator, as far as Bren, you know, you put it more toward the front, it's reading more of what the actual air is coming in, and you're not being inconsistent. You know, all the passes are going to be reading the same. That buildup or whatever is not going to be, you know, noticed. Same thing with the gold tape. You know, you're preventing that heat kind of going into the air box and kind of preventing. You know, like I said, it's more like you're not losing power. You know, you're not gaining it, but you're not losing it. You're kind of being consistent. So, is it worth it? Can you do it? I mean, I say why not? I mean, honestly, just like I said, it just depends on what you're trying to do. Now, let's say you're just riding the bike and, you know, you like to just ride around, stuff like that. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. You know, you're just out there riding. You don't need something like that. But yeah, if you max effort, you're trying to be, you know, get everything you can out of the bike, then yeah, it's something cheap to do. It's going to take you time. If you know, I'm kind of meticulous and I like my stuff looking clean. So I remember when I did the S1K, it took me like, I don't know, like 3 hours, you know, doing it, cutting and going around and everything. So would I recommend it? I mean, if you got time and you, like say, you want to go a little max effort, I say why not? You know, I even did my gas tank, the bottom of the gas tank. You know, so that's another little thing I did, and it's just gold tape. It's I can't remember DEI. I can't remember the brand I used, but yeah, it's like reflective tape.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's something to where like a roll's like $100, $80, something like that.
Yeah.
You know, last time I checked. So if you got time and you like to mess around things, yeah, why not?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, guys, that's kind of what we do, you know, and that's options of what, you know, you guys do. That obviously the most important things to us is going to be the exhaust, the filter, and the flash.
Enough to have fun.
Oh, for sure. You at least let your bike breathe and be able to run to its capabilities where it's not so, you know, congested and not, you know, not performing to its max abilities. So, yeah, guys, make sure you go to our website, infamousculture.com.
Thank you.
Check out the giveaway. You know, please check it out. Check out our merch, our hoodies. You know, Christmas is here. You know, for the man in your life, you know, husband, brother, dad, whoever, you know, get him a shirt, get him a hoodie, get him a chance to win a brand new 2024 Kawasaki ZX6R. You know, still selling the keychains. You know, definitely check us out. And another thing we didn't touch on, check out this video. It's going to be dropping around the time this video drops. We're actually going to line up the 3 bikes stock. So the ZX10.
Well, you don't want to play with R1M, bro?
Bro, you don't want that smoke.
You ain't lying, I know. I'm already gonna be last, bro. I already know.
The ZX10 Hawaiian Punch, which is a 24 S1K, and the Suzuki Nation Stand Up One Time for the One Time 2024 holding it down.
Holding it down.
You know what, we're gonna get a run in tomorrow. Clay Dog, Alex, and Flores. We're gonna see you know who gets the better of that one, and then as soon as we get that, guys, let the mods begin.
Yep,
So
yep.
it's going to be a fun time. Alex, you want to touch on anything before we wrap this thing up, man?
No, the only thing is like retouch on Tuesday. We're doing a Cycle Gear event. It's going to be the last one of the year.
December 12th.
December 12th. So Tuesday, Cycle Gear Katie.
Show up.
Yeah.
Show out.
It's always a good time with them, and you know we always appreciate them having us and inviting us and stuff like that. And I know everybody that goes out there has a good time. You know, they have that little helmet toss and stuff like that, and the little slow race. So
It's
DJ.
really a lot of fun, man.
yeah, it is. And honestly, we took the Lamborghini Duck. You know, I thought I could win. I've never gone so slow in my life, and I still lost. You know, so it's always a good time, and you know, appreciate Dre for having us out there. And
No doubt.
you know, I feel like it's the biggest Cycle Gear Katie I've ever been. You know, I feel like it's still the biggest in the States. You know, so yeah, check it out. You know, we'll be there. You know, setting up tent and stuff like that, and you'll be able to see that bike in person. So you'll be able to see how, you know, the 2024, they just, you know, the
With
biggest
the
changes.
exhaust.
Yeah, with the exhaust. Yeah.
And a pure sound video.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yes. Rez, you got anything, bro, before we wrap this up?
Let's go get some tacos, bro.
All right.